Back for round 2, we are winning the die roll and playing first. This hand isn't the greatest with 3 5-drops, but I think we can keep it. We do need some cards to for this hand to develop, but most of our cards only cost 2 or 3 mana. So if we don't draw land, then it's quite likely that we can at least play some spells. And once we've drawn our 5 lands, then we can go ahead with the 5-drops. Our opponent has the good start of turn 2 mock flunkies, but this is looking like we are going to have a very strong sequence here. Thinking about which creature to give vigilance. The problem is that the falcon isn't going to be attacking if the knight dies, but if he plays something like a reckless brood, then I want to have the falcon on defense to block the brood. So I think I'm going to do it that way. Even if the knight dies, then the falcon might not be able to attack for a while, but that doesn't seem to be too bad. If he's really that aggressive, then we can easily try to go for a longer game. And he doesn't have a haste creature here. I could equip Knight of Glory and attack with it alone, so that his flunkies aren't able. Well, if he decides to block, then his flunkies can't block. But he just takes the damage if I do that. There's really no reason to try to block if your opponent could have made another attack that would have dealt more damage. So I might have to block with the 3/2 falcon, so I'm going to equip the knight instead. I'm not sure if I want to raise the 6 power of attackers that's coming my way. I really don't know why he's conceding here. It's likely that he doesn't have a play, but it's not, well, yeah, if he doesn't have a play at all, then I can understand that. Okay, short game. He's playing well, red aggressive cards, so Mark of the Vampire is certainly a possibility. I kind of like Pillar Field Ox or Priced Elephant. Probably Pillar Field Ox more than Priced Elephant. And that should be the good cards here. Now, we haven't seen enough to really tell how good Dark Favor is going to be, but if he's really aggressive, then I don't want to put Dark Favor on anything. It's good on Sunstriker, but that's an exception. So I'm actually considering just dropping my aggressive cards for some more of a control-ish approach. The deck that goes mountain, mountain, flunkies, flunkies, mountain is most likely more aggressive than I am, and that would mean that I want some other cards to counteract that. I might even want a duress to get more information on what he has. Crippling Bite could be interesting if he has a start of flunkies and a 1 toughness creature. And the last card could, well, Phyrexian a little too expensive, I am afraid. Zombie Goliath not really great at 5 mana and still trading for his 2 and 3 drops, so let's take that out. Going to add the Walking Corpse, and well, it's either Duress or Pillowfield Ox, I feel. Pillowfield Ox just feels kind of bad overall. Yeah, I think Duress is the better choice. Now, I think we can still get away with playing only six swamps on the draw this game. Elixir is another alternative, but I think Duress is going to gain me more life. And I think we have to mulligan this hand. We don't have any offensive qualities, but we also don't have a defensive plan if he goes for turn 2 flunkies again. And that hand is probably worse with the Ajani not doing anything, but I'm not going to mulligan it with 6 cards on the draw. There's a high chance to draw a 2-drop, and if we manage to do so, unlike the game in round 1, then we should actually be at a good position. I don't know why he didn't sacrifice wilds here. That's usually not what you do when you play it on turn 1, but it's possible that he needed some more information on which land to get, I suppose, which either means he's splashing something, which is not what I would expect from the first game, given what we saw in game 1, or that he only had the evolving wilds and no other land, but that also seems like a hand that's not really keepable. So the fact that he got the forest here probably means that he has a hand of a forest, and he needed to know if he needs to fetch the second forest or maybe a second mountain or something. Now, Ajani not really great against Reckless Brood, but the fact that I don't have another play means I can't really trade here, I think. And if I get 2 +1/+1 counters out of Ajani, I think it is already worth it. Ajani also acting as a life gain spell of sorts if he's forced to attack into it. Okay, as expected, he's bringing down Ajani to 2 counters. But now I do get the 4/4 Sunstriker, and I'm just going to try to keep it back. If he wants to get rid of Ajani, he needs to attack with both. And then I still lose to Titanic Growth quite badly. But my hand doesn't really give me a lot of options. Also, if he attacks with both, it's probably his best attack, even if he doesn't have Titanic Growth. So if I don't block, I actually just give him a free shot to beat me here. 4/4 Sunstriker is nice, but I doubt that it's going to be able to win the game on its own. Wow. His creatures gain double strike. Now that's interesting, because now it does matter what he decides to do. Yeah, he's going for Ajani with both. So I'm losing Ajani no matter what. And I could trade my Sunstriker for one of his creatures, but next turn my Sunstriker is just better than both of his creatures. So, oh, sorry about that. Pressed F1 there. So I think trading the Riot for Ajani here is a very fair deal. And that's also not too bad. Now the Prowler allows us to swing with the Sunstriker and block Reckless Brood next turn. I think that gaining back some life has to be a good idea. But alternatively, we can just attack with the Prowler because he's forced to attack with Brute next turn. Yeah, I like that even better. I mean, if he has a solution for the Sunstriker, then it would have been better to gain some life here. But because he attacked Ajani 3 times, we are still at 20. So even though we are playing against an aggressive red deck, it's our life total isn't a big concern right now. Does he have a red spell in addition? No. Now I'm just going to use the Sunstriker to get further ahead in the damage race, offering a 2-for-1 trade here. My hand isn't spectacular, but I don't want to waste an Essence Drain on a Battle Jester when he could just drop something good next turn. Also, the potential for my Sunstriker to 2-for-1 him gets lower the more cards he sees. A single Titanic Growth does the trick there. He has a Gilded Lotus. Okay, so it's possible that we see some kind of expensive spell out of him, but maybe not. He could have the 7/7 worm. Not the, well, there's one that only has trample, and then there's Elder Scale Worm. That makes him almost, well, invincible. He added 3 black. And he does have a black card. So he's splashing the Gorgon, I guess. Now, slowly but surely, our creatures are going to get turned to stone. But we still have the Verdict, and they can be used as defensive. Well, they can be used to block, so it's actually not impossible to beat an active Gorgon. We also have the Essence Drain that could just hit him. Would be nice to have a Knight here. Yeah, that works. Now he's going to be forced to use the Gorgon's ability on the Falcon, and then he shouldn't have another blocker. Well, it's possible that he doesn't have another blocker for Attendant Knight or the Soldier, and then hopefully we can get him down low enough. Okay. Yeah, I know the feeling. I've played Gilded Lotus in a green deck before, and I did some nice stuff with it, like casting the Lotus, and then dropping Garruk Primal Hunter, drawing cards. But then there's other games where you draw 6 lands naturally and the Gilded Lotus, and, well, it's not pretty. So he could have something here, but I think attacking with both creatures makes it most likely that he takes at least 1 damage. And I'm just going to Essence Drain. And that's the game. See you in the finals.